Hey guys, welcome back to the This Is All Skate Shop YouTube channel. I'm Ivo and in this video I'll tell you how to clean your bearings. If you don't want to watch the entire video, then the short answer is you don't clean your bearings. Don't clean them, just replace them, wear them out until they don't work anymore or when they start sissing. There's a certain moment that you can replace them and just replace them by cheap bearings, replace them after. That's the short answer. If you have lots of time on your hands, if you want to buy very expensive bearings, if you want to buy all the cleaning material, and if you want to really put in the works to go 1% faster, then maybe this is a good video for you. So continue watching if you want to really dive deep into this subject with me. So when should you replace your bearings? First, let me just explain a little bit how I do this. So a bearing, when it's new, it comes freshly lubricated. That means that, there's little balls in there and that the lube protects it from wear and tear, because the balls, they roll and they kind of like grind over each other like metal on metal. And this grinding of these balls means that there will be kind of like metal dust in the bearing if you don't lubricate it, because the lube means that it doesn't wear down. But yeah, dirt will come in and the dirt will kind of like destroy the bearing and will also create some metal dust. And so in the end, if there's like a little bit there, then there will be a lot there later, because as soon as there's something in it, more will come. And the oil or lube, it kind of protects the bearing from it. The rain will flush out the oil, and without oil the bearing will destroy itself. I actually like skating in the rain. I think skating in the rain is better than cycling in the rain or walking in the rain or any other way of traveling. So, because especially in the Netherlands, you have this like winter period where there's not so much sunlight and there's a lot of rain, but me, for my kind of like joy and happiness, I need that skating moment. At the end of the day, it makes me happy to skate, and I don't want to like not skate for a half year. And also, I want you to skate as much as you can. So you can do all this like cleaning your bearings thing, but then you'll also be cautious because yeah, you just cleaned your bearings like yesterday, so now it's a little bit wet outside, and maybe I wouldn't skate. I don't think that this is the right approach to skate as much as you can. If you do skate in the rain, then this is my skate here. I'll show you. The wheel is like entirely stuck here. It cannot move. What I do after a session of skating in the rain to kind of break it again, I just go and skate, and first it doesn't roll at all and you might like fall a little bit. But then when you just skate for 1 minute, the wheels will start to roll again. So here you hear this sound as well. This one is rotating. And later when I try this, because I'm going to do it right now to show you, I think all of them will be like this wheel again. So they'll roll, they'll be dry, and they'll make a sissing sound. But that's fine for me, at least in the winter period. And then when the sun breaks out again, I think maybe in 2 months or something, or in 1 month, it will be spring. So I'm super excited about that. Then I just change my bearings to a fresh set. And then I have my summer setup with fresh bearings. All right, let me show you how to break in your wheels if they're stuck. And you see here that I don't skate really smoothly. They don't roll so long. I think I just need to skate a little bit longer, a little bit further. And then when I'm skating for 1 minute, it's perfect. All right, now you see already that it's going a little bit smoother. So let's go inside. It's super cold outside. Of course, I'm wearing my This Is All jacket. Now I'm gonna take off my clothes and show you the result. All right, and we're back. So now you see that my wheels are rotating again. Yeah, I just do this until the bearings destroy themselves. At a certain moment, also, the bearings will become so worn down that there's no tolerance in it anymore. And the wheel will start to kind of like move a little bit because of this, and I don't like that. So I want my wheels to be a little bit solid in the frame, because then also you lose control if the bearings are too worn down. But it's up to you when you want to replace your bearings, and if you want to clean them, how much time and energy and money you're going to spend in this. One more thing about skating in the rain. If you want to learn more about that, we have a video about skating in the rain, because there's also techniques that are nice to do in the rain, because people always say that it's hard to skate in the rain, but actually it will make you a better skater. Just watch that video and I'll show you what I mean with that. I always buy cheap bearings, or I am the owner of This Is All Skate Shop, so I just take them from the store. But if you are the type of person that wants to go 1% faster and want to put in a lot of energy into restoring your bearings, then it might also be worth it to get more expensive bearings. I think the most expensive bearings that we have is like 400 euros for a set. Again, be my guest. I am the owner of the store. If you want to buy expensive bearings, we have it, all right? I will sell it to you. There's no problem. This video is just my honest advice, because it works against kind of like my financial incentives, because I earn a lot less if you buy 3 times a cheap set a year than if you buy 1 time a 400 euro set a year, all right? So maybe that's also a good reason to know that I'm really being honest here, because it goes against what makes me a profit. Yeah. But yeah, if you want to have like a super expensive set and do all that energy, in this part, the next part of the video, I'll show you how that will work. We have bearings here, and of course the bearings sit in the wheel, so you have to take out the wheel out of the skate and then take the bearing out of the wheel. If you don't know how to do this, if you don't know how to take the bearings out of the wheel, especially if you have like metal core wheels, it's super hard. We have an entire video about taking out the bearings, so because it can be tricky, especially with some specific wheels or bearing spacers. I used to have a Bauer skate back when I was younger, and it was so hard to take it out because of the bearing spacer is a little bit complicated. So I'm just saying, if you want to know a little bit more about that, check out that video if you run into problems, because there I explain everything. I assume that you can take out the bearing for this video, so I won't go deeper into it. There's a couple of different types of bearings regarding cleaning. Some bearings have an opening on one side, so that makes it super easy to re-lubricate or to clean. Open side should be on the inside of the wheel, and the shield should be on the outside. There's also double shielded ones, and then there's different types of shields. There are rubber shields and there are metal shields. The rubber shields you can really easily take out. I'll show you one. Just take a sharp little knife like this, and then you put it next to the inner race, and then you can just whip it out like this. I need to hold it better. So you just stick the knife right there, and then you try to whip it out. That's easy. Rubber shields are nice because it's easy to take them off. Then there's the metal shields, and there's 2 types of metal shields. One has these little points there, these little dots, and this is a bearing that has a shield that you cannot take out. And there are also metal bearings that have a shield, and that it has a seal like this over the shield. So you have to grab the seal and kind of like whip it out like this. Now I have to search for the opening, and the opening is here, I see. And then there's 2 sides to the seal. One is easy to grab and the other is not. So this is the easy part to grab because it's like a little bit in an angle like this. And this one has an angle like this, so I cannot grip it here at all. But here I can like take my knife and hook it behind it. So I have to see which one is like the right side, and then you just try to wiggle it. This is actually easier with like a needle, but I don't have a needle. Also, full disclaimer, I don't usually do this. So I'm going to show you how to clean your bearings, but also I never clean my bearings. All right, so this is a good indication of why I also don't like doing this, because it's just so much work. Well, you get better after a while, of course, and then you can do it quicker, but it's still a lot of work. If you have 8 wheels, then you have to do it 16 times. And it's also better to do it on 2 sides, so open it on both sides. So that's 32 times of this. And this already like took me 2 minutes now with the knife. Okay, so I just took another knife, and here you can see then that the seal comes off, and there you can see the balls. That was a pain, yes. Take a rubber shield, I would say, if you want to do this. Also, you can filter on our website on like what type of shield the products have, and it's also listed in the product description. So if you want to like buy a specific bearing so that you can maintain it easier, on thisissold.com, our web shop. It's super easy to find and get exactly the bearing that you want. So now we have this done, and you need to do this, of course, like 16 times. Let's find one that's a little bit shitty and see if we can clean it. On the bearings, it's usually listed that it's a 608 bearing. 608 stands for the size. So that's just how many millimeters the outer and the inner race are. Skate axles are always 8 millimeter, and the outside of the bearing, I actually don't know exactly how much it is, the outside, but it's always the same at least. So the width is always the same. All skate bearings are all the same. They originated from roller skates, and then the roller skates were used to make a skateboard. That's where the term skateboard comes from, because it's a roller skate. So it's the truck from a skate with a board over it. So a skateboard obviously uses the same bearings as a roller skate, otherwise it would have been called something different. And then inline skates, the first inline skates were just kind of like grinded down roller skate wheels actually. So they also use the same bearings. And then the first scooters used actually inline skate wheels on it. So all scooters actually also use the same 608 bearings. But there's also industrial style 608 bearings, so you don't need to buy it from a skate manufacturer. Obviously, we prefer that you buy it on thisissold.com or in one of our stores. So it says 608, and then usually it says like Z or ZZ or RS or something like this, and this indicates the shield. So Z means a metal shield, ZZ means 2 metal shields, so it's double shielded. And then for rubber shields it is RS, and then for 2 rubber shields it says usually 2 RS. I like double shielded bearings because I don't want my loop to get out of the bearing. If you have a 1 shielded bearing, then the loop just kind of flows out and goes into the wheel a little bit as well. It's easier to put in, but it's also easier to go out. I just don't want my loop to go out. If you want to be the type of person that like cleans and oils their bearing every skating session, then maybe you want to have a 1 shielded bearing. So this is something that you need to figure out for yourself. So then we have the bearing, and then how to clean it. That's the name of the video, and so far we've only been talking about other stuff. So how to actually clean it? Well, you need cleaning material, and we have this citrus cleaner from Sonic. It's not on the table, but you can check it on our website. It's a wash from Powerslide as well. These washes they're called citrus cleaner. There's also, if you go to like I don't know, a store that has a lot of cleaning stuff, then usually I think they also have citrus cleaner there. Probably you can buy it at different places as well. You can also use alcohol cleaner. I wouldn't use beer, just like really like alcohol cleaner, that would work as well. And then you need to clean it, but if you just put it in a bowl and you just put it in, that really doesn't work, because you need to shake it or make sure that it's kind of like the dirt is flushed out. And for that you have a bearing container. We have 2 different ones, one from Sonic and one from Tempest, but they work kind of the same. You can improvise something as well at home if you want to do it like this, but of course this is meant for it, so it's really perfect. Here you can see that you can click on the bearings like this, so you can put on all 8 bearings, then you put the cleaning material in it, you put this in it, and then you shake. Here the cleaning material is already in it, and it's just kind of like a container, more than that it has like this specific spot. So it's a bottle with a separate container in it that contains the bearings, and it allows them to move a little bit. The cleaning material needs to flow through it and flush it out. Then also at the bottom, the inner container that's in this bottle does not sit entirely on the bottom. For this one, you see that it doesn't sit on the bottom, because normally oil floats on water, but the cleaning material is actually lighter than oil, so the oil drops to the bottom, and then you let it sink, and then you can take out the bearings. So let's try and see how it goes. I didn't try this for a long time because it's a lot of work, but so let's see if we can make this happen. So I have one bearing, but it's still kind of good. I want to have one that's really shitty, making a lot of noises. Yeah, this one has a lot of noise. I just took a few bearings and I opened them. This is the rubber seal that goes into the lid. And then let's use the bio cleaner. Put it in. Close the lid. Alright, and then we shake. Yeah, this is the fun part. So now the cleaner is flushing through the bearings. Hopefully it's cleaning it. You can already see some dirt flowing in the bottle, so that's cool. And now we need to let it sink a little bit. Let the oil sink. It's a process. It takes a lot of time because after this we're gonna take it out and then it needs to dry, so that's also taking some time. And then of course putting everything back together. I grabbed a towel thingy because it's gonna get dirty, of course. So now they say it's gonna be cleaned. You can also actually take out this this thing here. You need to push it, I think, from the inside. If it's not sufficient, you can also just do it again, do it a couple times. But you can also take out this thing because there also sits some dirt. You actually see the dirt still. See it here? So I don't think it's doing a really good job. So I'm just gonna do it again. And I'm gonna take out this thing. There's some dirt being stuck around it and behind it, and I'm going to throw it in the container, but just not in the bearing, and then later I'm going to put it back. That is the best way to do this. I don't think anybody actually does this. I think I'm special now that I do this. Normally when you clean your bearings, I don't think people take this out, but because it's just not really... Oh, this one has a metal, I don't know the name of this actually, but it's kind of like a spacer to make spacing between the balls. And this one has a metal one, and this one is from some sort of plastic. Let's try it again. Look how dirty my hands are. Shake again. Later I'm gonna show a way to do it even quicker. Hopefully, maybe. I have something special. Now let's the dust settle a little bit, let the oil sink down and also the grease. I can already see that there's a lot more dirt in the container this time than the previous time. Let's take it out and see if it's better this time. It looks definitely a lot better now this time. Okay, just how to get these things out is a challenge. I'm learning a lot in this video. This is probably the most pessimistic bearing cleaning video you'll ever see. Yeah! Well, it's still dirty though. Alright, so now again you also see how hard it is to do this, because these are still dirty. I think that's also one of the downsides that I didn't really emphasize enough in the beginning. It's not just a lot of work, but it's also hard. You can also do it wrong. And just like I really didn't succeed this time in cleaning it. So maybe I have to do it again now, maybe, but I already tried it 2 times with the same bearing, okay? And it's still dirty. So that's the cleaning part that is hard. But now you need to let it dry. As far as I understand it, the citrus cleaner will just evaporate. Also, alcohol also evaporates if you just leave it. If you leave it too long, like if you leave it overnight, and I actually had this last time I did this, it was a long time ago, and it happened to me that I left it overnight, and then I came back and all my bearings were rusty. If there's like really no oil on it and also no dirt on it, there's nothing, they're just barren. Just the atmosphere will make it rust. That's also something that you need to look out for. There's a couple of pitfalls. And then there's one more pitfall is later when you start to grease it, and you use the oil or grease. This is also not easy, because then if you put in too much, the bearing will not roll at all as well. So the lubrication process is also hard. So there's actually a couple of things that you can do wrong when you do this. It's just a lot of work. And then if it goes wrong as well, I guess we have to wait a little bit. In the meantime, I'm going to show you one other cool thing. I never tried this. This is from the Bond brand. And I just saw it on their order list, so I ordered it because I was curious. And you can buy it, of course, on our web shop, thisisall.com. And it's an electrical bearing cleaner, and I thought in the beginning, I thought it was with static electricity or something, or that you would like run electricity through the bearing and that the dirt would fall off or something. Thought that was a really weird assumption, but it turns out it's just a spinner. It spins the bearing super quickly. So I need to find a dirty one. Yeah, here, this is one that I didn't do yet, and it's super dirty. So you click it on. Oh, this wouldn't be a mess if I just stick it in here, but let's see. I've never tried this, so better I put it on the towel. And then if I push this button, the bearing will just spin super hard. Actually spins super hard. Whoa. Just doing this actually, I'm playing with this for the first time. Because it will spin super hard, and then of course I can like hold the outer race, I can hold it, and then just doing that also already pushes the dirt out a little bit. Okay, let's try to put it in. Hopefully I don't get electrocuted, and hopefully the water doesn't splash everywhere, because I have no idea what will happen now. And then I just push the button. Okay. Creates a vortex. Okay, I don't know how long I should do this, because it doesn't say on the packaging. But something like this should work, right? A couple of seconds. It looks clean right now. Let's look at it a little bit better. Here you can see it on the camera. It looks definitely a lot better than the way it was. Maybe this is a good technique. Oh, this one is also dirty. Let's try it one more time. Do you see all the dirt on it? Put it in. Okay. I'm surprised that it doesn't splash everywhere, so I'm happy about that. Maybe you can dry it like this as well. Maybe it dries quicker as well. There's still some dirt on it, visually. It definitely looks a little bit cleaner. I have the feeling that it works. But if it works in the end, we'll never find out, because I'm also not gonna test it. I'm just gonna put in some new bearings. A bearing will never be as good as a new bearing, because if you have a new bearing, the tolerances and the lube, everything is just perfect. So you can put in all this work, but you'll never make it as good as a new one anyway. Fast forward until it's ready. All right, cool. So we put this spacer back in, and then now the lubrication starts. There is grease, and there's oil, and there's a lube. I think lube is a general term for grease and oil, so this is a broad word, but I'm not a native English speaker. Oh my God, everybody's so surprised right now, as if you didn't hear from my accent. I'm actually Dutch, so maybe sometimes the words, I don't know, like I don't know if lube is a broader, embodies both. If you are a native English speaker and I say something wrong, please correct me, because I'm always willing to learn, of course. But I think lube is both for oil and grease, and then you need to choose between oil and grease. And oil is more viscose, and this means it's more fluid, so it flows easier in and it flows easier out, and it sits less in the way of movement. So if you put in some oil, then your bearing spins faster, but you will lose your oil also faster. I don't want to maintain my bearings, so I would prefer like a little bit of grease than oil, because yeah, I'd rather have the grease stick in the bearing for longer and have the bearing last longer, and then maybe go a little bit slower. I'm going fast. I'm going fast, okay? I don't need to have 1/10 of a second faster. I'd rather, yeah, just a good functioning bearing that lasts longer. There's this balance between grease and oil, and you need to choose that. I think this is oil, and here this just says lube. It doesn't say if it's grease or oil. But let's just see. Yeah, it's definitely oil. It flows like water, and grease is more greasy, right? You know what I mean? Both of these are oil, but of course you also have bearing grease, and you can buy it in hardware stores, or I don't know, places where they have stuff like that. You can buy it there. So put the bearing back together, and then let's try some of this beautiful stuff. Put it in just a little bit. I think the safe thing about oil like this is actually nice that it's white, so you can distinguish it a little bit. The safe thing about the oil is that it's harder to put in too much with oil, because if there's too much, it just flows out. But with grease, it's actually really easy to do it too much. If you kind of like fill up the bearing with grease, then it just doesn't rotate anymore. Well, it rotates a little bit, but just not so good. So then we put the shield back on. This is a rubber shield, thank God. The rubber shield you can just push in. It's really easy. So now let's test it and see how it goes. It's still making some sound. So after all this work, it still didn't work. I don't know if you can hear the sound. What are we doing here, man? Well, why are we making this video? It's still not perfect. I think if you do this a lot of times and you get better at it, then you'll definitely be able to do this, okay? You'll be able to do it a lot quicker than I just did. Most likely be able to make a perfectly good bearing again. But I just wanted to show you as well that it's not easy. And if you want to invest the time, not just in doing it, but in getting better at doing it, because the first couple of times you'll probably make one of the errors. Wrong loop, too much loop, rust on your bearings, didn't clean it enough, all those things. Then if you want to invest all the time, be my guest, do it. Maintain your skates. I like maintained skates. I'm not against maintained skates. I'm pro maintained skate. I'm just more pro skating, seeing it as something that you use instead of something that always needs to be in perfect condition. It's like my car. In my car, maybe you'll find like an empty bottle there or like some trash and maybe, but I clean my car sometimes as well. But I use it more to use it, right? Choosing a loop for your bearing. There's this common thing, it's called WD-40. A lot of people have it at home. This is too viscose. So it's really easy to just spray some WD-40 on your bearing. Also, it's nice because it flushes out the dirt because it goes out of the bottle with some force. So that's a really nice thing. But if you do this with WD-40 and you go skate after like, I don't know, one skating session, let's say, the WD-40 is gone. Because it just flows out of your bearing like water, and you're left then with a dry bearing without anything in it, and it will rust immediately and yeah, be kind of like destroyed. So don't use WD-40. I would advise you in this. All right, so here's the jar with €1 bearings, and if you just put in this, it's not that much work and it's always good. You'll never get a better bearing than a new one. It's up to you. If I did anything wrong, let me know in the comments, because also I can learn, of course, a lot. As you see, I've made some mistakes in this. If you have any disagreements, let me know in the comments, because I'm always open to learn, of course. And if you want to learn as well, then check out our YouTube channel, because we make a new video every week where we discover new stuff that I never do, or I explain stuff that I've done a lot of the times to you and tell you how to do it. So discover more about skating on our YouTube channel. Also go to our Instagram, our Facebook, and we have, of course, a website, thisissole.com. I'll see you guys in the next video, or maybe at Winter Clash if you have some tickets. Bye-bye.